This is Dad Mentality. I am Rodney Glover. I'm your host. So we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves.
Hello. Welcome to Dad Mentality. I'm your host, Glover, a.k.a. the B1. And we're here another week for another show. I want to thank everybody for all the comments and everything that we've been getting recently on about the show and about the reels and everything. I appreciate it. But as you know, I don't do this by myself. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties. Albans is not here with us this week. But you know, we don't stop for nobody. We want to keep it going. We got my man Vance Robs, aka Coach. What's up, Vance? How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing today?
Man, doing good. Loving life, brother. Loving life. Also got my man Everett Street, our producer Ev. How you doing today, producer Ev?
I'm good, y'all. What's poppin'?
Hey, man, it's another great show, another great week. So, luckily, we got a guest today who's going to help us out and give us some great information. This guy, I met him I don't know, probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not even sure. I met him at a poker game, my monthly poker game. I will say he is a terrible poker player, but he's a great friend. He is a Army veteran. He also is a girl dad. I know he's very happy about his life doing the things with his child. I always see them on the Instagram and Facebook traveling and going to games. This is the only guy I've known personally that's been to all 32 baseball fields in the United States. So he loves to travel. He works for a company called PHP. He is a multi-state licensed life and annuity uh I guess sales, I don't know, salesman or whatever, but he said he does all that stuff. And I wanted to get him on here to talk about this because this is something that we as black men don't talk about a lot. And he is Hyrom Buchanan. And my man, I call him Buck. I only know him as Buck. I didn't even know his real name until we started the show today. So, how you doing, Buck? What's up, Buck?
Man, doing good, Rodney. Man, I appreciate you having me on the podcast today. Looking forward to sharing some information with your audience. And yeah, just waiting to volley as you serve.
Yeah, well, when I sat and listened to your presentation one day, and I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, this is a lot of good information that people don't know about, and we as men, like I said, the show is based on things we don't really talk about. So I definitely thought, to have you on the show. I do want all our people to know that he is from Texas, but the D on his head stands for Duke University. I don't know why he has that, but don't, we're not going to hold that against him. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and start with our Twitch mental health check-in because here at Dad Mentality, we believe mental health is important. And I'm going to go ahead and start this week. So, fellas, my mental health definitely rose from the last few weeks. Even though I came back from that trip last week, which was at a 9.5. I mean, but that was only at the end of the week it finally got there. But I'm gonna say right now, this week was a good 8.5. I had a few good things happen to me this week that not just happened to me, but happened for my family that I'm proud of. My daughter, she got accepted and signed up for dual enrollment. She is a sophomore in high school. She'll be going into her junior year. This summer, she'll be taking college courses and already getting ready she's in a nursing program. So the goal is when she gets out of high school, she'll already have her associates and going towards whatever school she's going to go to. So she's doing exceptional. That was a highlight of my week. Also, my son had a mock track meet, and it was very good. He came in, I think, second overall in the 200. He came in first overall by like 10 seconds in the 400. And I think he came in second again in the 100. So he did pretty good in that. It was just a mock, just against another track club. So I was proud of him and watching him do what he does. Also, my wife excelled a lot this week in her business, which is Zenden Yoga. You can check her out on Instagram at the Zenden80. on Instagram and Facebook. If you were into that, into yoga and doing this thing, you know, you can come definitely hang out and work with her and check out the workouts that she does. And I mean, it is exceptional, and she's growing, and it's a lot of great things coming forward. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy that a lot of my people, myself, are doing great things around us. So, you know, Vance, you want to go ahead and go next and give your mental health check-in?
Yeah, I mean, this week I'm probably still hovering around that 7.5, like I have the last couple weeks. Got some things accomplished at work. Nothing's really been changing as far as the family life. So I mean, it's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, trying to make it through the week, make it through the motions. Nothing new has really sparked off or anything like that. Get ready for Mother's Day next weekend. So
Shout out
and
to the
so
mothers
forth.
out there.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying, this week will be a test in and of itself, just trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, gifts and all that other stuff. For my wife and so forth. And then work is still work. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Coming up on some big decisions that need to be made toward the end of the month. So um, other than that, I think everything else has been pretty smooth. Nothing exciting, nothing dramatic that has been changing me up or down. So at this point,
I am excited. Summer's coming, man. I definitely cooked out today because I was just excited about the weather. So.
mm.
Producer Ev, how you feeling, man? Tell us about your week.
Week was okay. You know what? I would say my weekend was really good, and then I did something dumb that caused me and my significant to get into a tat. So that brought it down. Overall, I'll probably get about 6.5 just based off of that. It was good. We were watching the movies. We were, doing the weekend couple of things. I said something dumb, and then that started the tat. So it's all like on me, but we got over it. I think we're good. So that's what bring it up to about 6.5. Other than that, I'm all right.
You know, the good news, Everett, if you know, I know you was there for last week's show. Remember that conflict is a blessing, a blessing is wrapped in conflict.
Right.
So, you know, just because you got a little conflict don't mean nothing. Trust me. You know, if you said something she's still talking to you, couldn't have been that bad.
Right. That's how I took it. So
It's all good. All right. What about you, Big Buck? Let's hear how your week going. How's your week going? What's your rating? He's muted and he doesn't know. We got a rookie. Sorry, we got a rookie over here.
Rookie in the house. Rookie in the house.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, last week I never really thought about giving it a numerical rating or anything. But I just had to say last week, probably to be honest with you, it's just I see everybody's being candid. Last week for me was about a 5 and some change. I didn't I haven't had the type of contact since I've been down here in Florida that I would like to have had with my family and my children. Rodney, you mentioned earlier about the relationship, especially with my daughters. I got a son too, but that's it has its complications with that. But one of the things that with my daughters in particular, I haven't had the amount of contact that I would like to have had with them. But I went out to eat today and took one of my classmates with me. I'm down here in Florida for a school, and he sold something into my spirit. And I told him, man, you dropping nuggets on me today. And he said, sometimes we go through seasons in life where, as a parent in particular, and my children are grown. My youngest one's 20, they're 32, 29, and 20. And where you might be the hero 1 minute for a time, and then you might not necessarily be a bad parent, but you might be, have to play a bad guy role at one point or another. And I've had to recently instate some boundaries in my life that have caused, as you said, Rodney, conflict, that have generated conflict and contention. But when he told me that, today at lunch, maybe a few hours ago. It kind of, I guess you could say, it kind of bumped it up to a maybe a low 7, because it added perspective to, hey man, this is just a season. You know, the fellowship may have changed a little bit, but the relationship is always going to be intact. You know, I'll always be their parent. But right now, the fellowship is just a little bit off skew, but I say about a 7. But I'm doing all right over here.
Now I'm sorry, you know, we do this off the cuff. Now I got a couple questions for you, just your opinion questions.
Sure.
Because I kind of now what he said was exact, but I've kind of felt like once your child gets to a specific age, you no longer have to be a parent anymore. So, and I only say this because in my relationship, my father died when I was 11. My brother took very good care of me growing up, and we conflicted all the time growing up. But then I became an adult, and I had to tell my brother, I was like, I no longer need a parent. Like, you was there for me as a dad for a long time, but I no longer need a parent. So when I tell you these things, I don't need for you to parent me. I need for you to just listen. Just listen and just, okay, this happened, register it, and this, that, and other. But I don't need you to tell me what to do, because 9 times out of 10, I already know what I need to do. I'm a grown ass man. So my question to you is, do you still find yourself now, and just curious, do you still find yourself needing to be a parent? Or do you think that, and it's just my philosophy, at some point in time, once they become an adult, it's more important to take more as a confidant friend type status?
Well, the one, and I appreciate that question. One of the things I always say is, I don't necessarily want to align myself as their friend per se, because maybe that dynamic, maybe I'm a little old fashioned. You know, I'm in my 50s now. Maybe I'm a little old fashioned, and I think that sometimes that dynamic needs to be kind of rigid. And that's something I might need to work on. I ain't going to say that I'm infallible, right? But at the same time, man, with my children, I always tell them this, right? I can't raise you anymore at this point. Going back to what you were saying, I can't raise you anymore. All I can do is just tell you, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that shit if I were you. You know,
Yeah.
you might want to go this way. You might want to zig instead of zag or whatever. But one of the things that, you know, and I try to keep that point, because I always say I got 2 grown-ups, and my 2 oldest kids got kids, and my youngest one, she's 20, but she's in college. She kind of in and out of the house, dorm stuff. So she's an adult, but she ain't a grown-up yet.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know, I try to treat you like a grown-up. And like I said, and I'll be transparent a little bit, but when the only time you really call me is when you need some money, that's where, when I said I had to start laying down some boundaries on stuff, because I say this: if you ask me for money, you're probably going to get some advice.
Yeah,
if you
I
ask,
can respect that. Yeah, that's different. That's different when they come asking for money. Yeah, I get it.
And then I always say that if you ask me for money, you're going to get advice. If you ask me for some advice, you're probably going to get some money twice. So
okay, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. So that's why I say, you know, I recently had to lay down some gauntlets on some stuff and be like, and now all of a sudden when the money kind of went away, so did they. But like I said, they'll be back around here eventually. But
so Vance, you coach, you have one adult child in college. What do you think about what I said, or how do you handle that situation? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's similar to what Buck said. I mean, like, in all honesty, it's about guidance, right? You know what I mean? And like, I'm in a blended family. So like, my oldest, you know what I'm saying, is my stepdaughter. Although I've had her since, you know what I'm saying, she was 6, 7 months. But I don't give her no money.
Okay.
I mean, because my thing is this, is that, like, she knows that the stipulation to come ask me for money is to be on a budget. right? So she has the budget. So she knows that until we fill out the budget and she executes the budget, she knows not to come to me for money. You can go to whoever you, I don't care where she gets the money from. She gets it from other family members or whatever else. But I'm not gonna give you any money. You know what I'm saying? Until I show you how to manage the money. So everything that she gets kind of from us is all guidance. It's like, here's what we would do in that situation. Take what we would do and you make the decision.
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean? So now it still goes back to I still got rules in my house because like Buck said, you're an adult, but you're not grown up, right? You know what I mean? Um, so there's still rules to my house, but a lot of the conversations that surround it is really more of guidance, like, hey, I wouldn't do that. But what do you think? Why do you think it? Here are the positive and negatives of it. And then kind of leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like it's your decision. Because guess what? And the one thing I made clear is like, yo, whatever decision you make now, I cannot save you from.
Okay. All
Because
right.
like if you make the wrong decisions, I can't save you from those no more.
Yeah. But
So and that's that. I mean, and she's pretty clean. She's pretty clean and she's really smart. She's really really smart. You know what I'm saying? And she's really mature for her age. You know what I'm saying? But she still chooses when to be mature, if that makes sense. So she's getting a whole lot better. She's on her game for to be as young as she is. I'm really proud of her. And in all honesty, I mean she's finishing up her sophomore year and she's going into her junior year. And
college.
I ain't even gonna see her. She's gonna be home for 2-3 weeks, and then she going to New York for the summer for an internship, and then she's gonna be in New York for a year. Like so, she's pretty much out of the house, and it's not causing me a dime or anything of that nature to do it. You know what I mean? So the guidance is the key. You know what I'm saying? And the guidance definitely is part of parenting, and it definitely keeps that line of friendship versus parenting. Like you come talk to me about anything, I'm gonna give you this situation, but I still manage my own house, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I mean, when I say being a friend, I don't need, at this point in time when I was talking to my brother, I was a adult. I got kids, I got a family, I've been married for years and this, that,
yeah,
at that point in time. But my brother was still trying to be my dad, at 40. Like you at my 40th birthday party, dog. Like, come on.
right.
Like, stop trying to tell me how to run my shit. Like, yeah. But anyway, that's just something that I just brought up. It's something for you to think of, just planting a little seed. Maybe you handle a little different. But if they ask for money, they gonna get whatever I got to give them. They ask for money. So I get that. But it's all good. We're gonna go on to the next subject, the real subject, which is the interview. So so first, all right, I got a quick question because when you told me you are a multi-state licensed life and annuity, now what? So you're not a counselor. What is it like? What's the next thing after that? Maybe I didn't write it down.
You have consultants. You don't have to have a license to be a consultant, right?
Nope.
And you don't have to have a license in some certain situations, depending on what it is, to be an advisor, right? But when you're going to be dealing in products like insurance, annuities, things like that, you have to be licensed by a state governing body. You have to be licensed by them. I have a resident license, and you said multi-state. I have a resident license in Texas. And then I said, man, okay. I went out and studied, passed this test. And then I said, well, I got people in other states. They said, once you have a resident license, then you can get non-resident licensure in different states. So I'm Maryland, Virginia, because I got a policy I'm actually working on Killer, on Chris Smith.
Okay.
Maryland, Virginia, Florida, Louisiana, and then Colorado is still pending, but they need to find my fingerprints because I had to redo my fingerprints for Colorado. So, and like I said, different states have different criteria. But to do what I'm doing right now, you have to be licensed.
Okay.
Okay.
So I know what a life is. What's annuity?
Lottery.
Huh?
The
Okay.
lottery.
A lottery, you can, when you go, okay. So I'm gonna give you the definition of an annuity, right? And this is just a Google definition. Annuity is an investment option, like you say for the lottery. It can be an option that can provide a guaranteed income for an individual or their spouse throughout their retirement, right? They're purchased for a set period of time and pay out a specific amount in retirement based on the investment strategy and amount invested, right? So you hit the Powerball, you know, and it's $1 billion. You can take a lump sum payment, or you can say, nah, just pay me, you know, 20 million over the next 50 years.
20 years, right.
Whatever the case may be, whatever the time period is. So
that's why you hear all the commercials riding to say, if you got annuity payments, we can get
your
and
cash
you need
payment.
money,
Yeah.
you can come to us, we can get the bulk annuity payments to you. Which is ridiculous, by the way. I just want
which would defeat the whole purpose of having an annuity in the first place. So it's a way to take your money and position it in such a way that you won't outlive that particular amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on how much money you have, if it's the lottery, you know, and you space it out. I'll tell you what, a good example, kind of a sort of an example, would be what you call that, Bobby Bonilla. He's still getting paid off of his contract. It's kind of like
what's that? July 1st, I think it is.
Yeah, July 1st, he get paid, and he getting paid for the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's been a while now. I was out here at Kennedy Space Center the other day trying to see a rocket launch. Somebody goes, "Hey, that's Ken Griffey Jr. over there." Nobody bothering him or nothing. He's got his retirement from the Cincinnati Reds set up like that. I don't know if you can see that.
Can't. They call it Bobby Bonilla.
Okay. Yeah, there it is right there. Can you see that? Yeah, I was out there with Ken Griffey Jr. But Ken Griffey Jr. has a deferred contract. But it's basically an annuity is a way, getting back to the point. I digress. I was just happy I was like, man, that's Ken Griffey Jr. But I said I had some Griffies back in the day. But
I got Griffey sitting right by me.
But and he said, but it's basically a way to set up your money in a way that is guaranteed to be there. So I'm fixing to take my 401k and put it in an annuity, and then set that back and let it just keep growing, tax free, because we're gonna talk about the tax benefits. And then I'm 51 now, so in about 15 years or so, then I'm gonna have it set off to start paying me so much per month for the next X amount of years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. Well, let's start with now I broke down annuity because I wasn't even sure what that meant, but now I understand. All right. So now let's start with what made you go into this business? What made you start selling it? What made you start doing this as a profession?
All right. Yeah, cool. Appreciate it. Tell you a story real quick. 2019, it was around May 2019. My grandmother started going down bad. She started going downhill bad. I get a group text message, got 5 people on this text message. It was me, my cousin, my mom, my aunt, and my uncle that's also retired from the military, right? So it was 5 people on this text message that were doing okay for themselves. Text message goes, I'm getting to the nuts and bolts of it. Everybody needs to chip in $600 a month and some change for a total of about $3,000 a month to have somebody there when she goes to bed and somebody to be with her when she wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Her health is declining, all of this type of stuff. and be honest with you, I had the $600 a month, but I was like, yeah, that's a whole car payment. You know, what's going on? And I was like,
That's a
does
nice car
anybody?
payment.
What's that now?
That's a nice car payment. They ain't even like
Right.
a bucket. Yeah. That's
And I was like, I said, and in a text message, I was like, hey, does anybody? How long is this going to go? Is this in perpetuity? Is this for the rest of our life? I don't know. And then the question was, well, then I started getting a pushback in the group. You know, if you don't want to do this, you ain't got it. My mama gonna be okay, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know, I love her too, but that's not my mama. That's y'all's mama. You know, what did y'all have in place for her? And then I said, well, hey, look, you know, I'm just trying to find out some information. Does she have anything that she qualifies for or whatever? And then I remember my aunt put in a group, well, Hyrum, these things just happen.
Hmm.
And then I said, hold on now. I said, first of all, I don't like your attitude in this text group. And I responded back, Mama didn't wake up and was 85 years old.
wow.
Nope. She sure didn't.
She didn't go to bed 52 and wake up 85.
Yeah.
And then the next message I got was, you've been removed from the
You've
group.
been removed.
Of course.
And I was like, you know, and I was like, you know, and part of me was like, well, y'all then, you know,
Yeah.
but I was ponying up the cash. This was in May. Subsequently, she died on December 1st of 2019. And that's when I moved up to DC on like December 8th, 9th, when I moved up there.
Mhm.
And right before all that COVID mess started happening. And so later on, I see one of my old soldiers on Facebook, insurance, properly structured life insurance. So I hit him up and I'm like, hey, Jesse, man, what are you doing? And he told me. And I said, all right, cool. This is back in December of last year, about maybe 6 months ago, 6 months ago. And I was like, man, what are you doing? And he said, oh, it's a great side hustle, man. You know, you should get on board, you know. See. And I was like, no. And to be honest with you, and I'm doing all right over here financially. I don't really need this to change my life. I asked him, I said, can this help people?
Okay.
Can this help people? And he told me, he was like, and he started talking to me about tax benefits, living benefits for people. And I was like, living benefit? What's living? Tell me about the living benefit. Where you have a death benefit of like $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written a policy. The policy I wrote for Chris, right, has living benefits in it. And you know all it takes to activate living benefit? It's a checkbox. All you gotta do is pick up this funky little mouse and click on living benefit. And I think to myself, if my grandmother would have had that, she could have started using her death benefit, which was like a couple $100,000 while she was still alive. And people would have been running around scurrying. So I made it a mission to, you know, and yes, I can make some change doing this. And yes, I do okay doing this. But at the same time, it's not about that for me. I've downplayed a whole bunch I've diverted a whole lot of commission out of my pocket by trying to set people up with what is the best product for them and not pushing something on them that they don't need. Because as a fiduciary, which means I have to act in the best interest of the client, I can't do that. So I've got into this business for my grandmother and for all the people out there with their grandmama and for all the people that, you know, you'd be amazed, Rodney, how many people that look like us when I start talking to them about this. Hey, did you know you can use your life insurance while you're still alive? Did you know that tax code 7702? And they just like blown away. And the next thing you know, I got appointments to maybe speak with them privately about different stuff. And it's just, I like to see the light bulbs come on. That's what, and that's what really makes it, fun for me to be able to educate people on the benefits thereof.
Okay. All right. So you talked about living benefits, but hold on, I'm gonna go back. I had another question. So now you're sitting in front of two 45-year-old males who are getting ready to turn 45.
All right.
And we both have good jobs. We make a good amount of money. We're financially stable. Now I do have separate life insurance than what my job provides. I did that because when I bought my restaurant, it was something that I wanted to make sure that if something happens to me, my wife would be not in debt. You know what I'm saying? And even when I sold my restaurant, I still have the life insurance. Now I have a term policy. So my term policy is a 30-year policy that I've had now, I think maybe 15 years. I can't remember. I know it goes away sometime in my 60s.
Right.
But now you got two people here. You're sitting with us, and I mean, of course, let's get this straight. Anything that you say is just a conversation. You're not giving advice. You're not giving people legal advice. You're not telling them to do something that they can come back and be like, "Oh, Hyrom on the podcast told me to do this." But what would be your suggestion for us trying to set up for our final days?
This is not financial advice.
There you go. There you go.
Look at the camera. And we come back suing me later. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. A term policy is a step in the right direction. If you have a term policy through your job, and most of the time that term is, as long as you work there, you can get insurance through them.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah, so that's a term policy, right? But if you have a term policy outside of that, I shouldn't say the problem. The positives of a term policy are that it's affordable. You get a lot of coverage and you don't have to spend a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
The bad part about a term policy is, like you said, it's going to expire. And then if you want to get another term policy, you're going to have to re-qualify at an older age, and that policy is going to usually be what?
Higher.
More expensive because you're older.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a good policy to have, but it's affordable and it expires. But I brought it up when I was on that Zoom call with you, Rodney. But Rob, you might not know, but there's also a policy out there called a return of premium policy. Have you heard of that one, Rob?
No, I'm putting it down. Return of premium. Go ahead.
I haven't. It's like that hybrid one in between whole life and term.
Not really.
Not really.
Well, a return of premium policy, just like it's saying, ROP, not to be confused with MOP, ante up, but ROP, right? ROP, the downside of it is it's going to expire too. I've got a return of premium policy. Well, it's in a draft phase right now. I've got a return of premium policy. It's set for a certain period of time. I got it for 20 years. And I said, that's going to cover me, pretty much till my house is paid off, right?
Right, to the accumulation phase or the asset accumulation phase. Okay.
So 20 years. Now, if nothing happen to me in them 20 years and I'm still walking around here talking crap, I get all the premium that I paid back to me.
Okay.
I get it back. And
is it more expensive than typical term?
It is a little bit more expensive than term.
Okay. You got to qualify for it?
Hold on. I need you to break that down for me, because how does that work? So how do they make money if you get the money back at the end of the policy?
Interest.
The same way they make money. The same way money. Hold on. The same way money is made. The same way money is made off of your term policy. It's just that you don't get the money back. They make investments with your money. They make money with
they raise capital.
They raise capital. But with the return of premium policy is you're not going to get the principal, or you're not going to get the interest they accumulated with your money, but you will get your premium back. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So it's basically like a large ass loan to them until you get to that 20 years. Okay. Because you're just loaning them money, you're giving them money, they're making money off your money.
But here's the kicker. And people ask me, oh, I'm sorry, Rodney, I stepped on.
No, you good. No, you good. I'm listening. I'm trying to hear this.
so people are asking me, they were like, damn, Buck, well, why are you getting a daggone ROP policy there? Because I've got actual policies that are, X $100,000 of death benefit, right? And let's say something happens to me, right? And the death benefit goes to my children. I don't want them to have to pay off my house out of the death benefit from my permanent policy. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's mortgage protection. It's mortgage, or I ain't gonna front. Like if I had a restaurant or something, I may get an ROP policy until that restaurant is paid off, right? Whenever the break-even point with that restaurant may be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or whatever the case may be, in case the restaurant burned down or something like that. I know you got to get business insurance and stuff like that, but if something happens to me during that time, the restaurant can be paid for. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm upset she didn't sell me a ROP. Shit, I'm upset about that. I've been paying for this.
Well, most people not gonna sell you ROP because they're gonna sell the whole term policy because they're gonna say you should be accumulating assets during that time frame and blah blah blah.
But remember, the term policy does not accrue any cash value.
It doesn't, right? That you can borrow against. You mean?
Yeah, you can't borrow against a term policy. You can't borrow money. You can't borrow money against the
ROP.
ROP either. It's just it's a term policy, a type of term policy. But like I said, you get your money back.
Yeah.
But when we talk about like permanent insurance, right? A lot of permanent insurance, there are different types of insurance under permanent insurance. But the two main ones that I work with the most are, everybody's heard of whole life, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just cashed out a whole life policy of mine. I'm waiting on them to send me my money back because I'm gonna put the money that I get back from that into the other type of policy I'm gonna talk about. Because my whole life policy, that bad boy was paid up at 100. I would have been paying on that thing until I was 100 years old. And I'm like, nah, man, Buck ain't gonna be doing that, right?
Right.
So
all the pork chops
what's that?
Nothing. I said all the pork chops you eating, you ain't gonna make it to 100.
Yeah, right. Fooling around with that, right?
Then the fact that by the time you get to 85, you ain't tripping off much at that point either. So
and like me, my aim is by 60, I don't want to be paying a whole bunch of bills. I'm gonna be paying on that nice truck I got when I'm 60 something, I'm gonna have me a nice ass truck. Maybe, some stuff here or there, but I ain't gonna be paying on a bunch of stuff. But one of the things that hold on, I'm gonna share with you. The last one is an index universal life policy.
Similar, is that similar to like a 401, invest your money in 401k where it's
nope.
It's not.
Similar in one way, right? And I don't have my graph in front of me, but it's paced. Shoot. Nah, I can't do that because it's got people's personal information in it.
Just go ahead. Yeah, talk through it.
What happens is in an index universal life policy, right? Everyone knows what a ratchet is, a socket, ratchet socket.
I thought you were talking about this girl I dated in high school. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, her too, right?
It was ratchet.
It only goes in one direction, right?
Right.
And an IUL policy, I always tell my clients this: it is not designed to replace your investment portfolio, your stocks and bonds. It's not designed to replace that. Okay. What an index universal life policy does is, when it's properly structured, and like I said, once I found out the actual mechanics of where to click, I'm like, that's it. It was kind of simple to set it up for people, right? It's track mine. I check the box for tracking along with the S&P 500 and the S&P 500 cap, right? And what it does is when the market goes up, because now the market's been going up year to date on my 401k from my job, I'm up 9% and some change, right?
Which a lot of people don't know that, by the way. I just want to caveat that a lot of people don't understand that. People say that the market is rough right now because they're running all them interest rates. And it's not.
No. But my IUL, my index universal life policy, is up 7.8% for the year to date, right? So it goes along with the market, but when the market, let's say the market drops down to zero, what happens to my principal? Do I start losing my principal in the IUL? Nope. It just stays where it's at.
Huh. That's interesting.
Like I said, my IUL is like 7 and some change this year, which is a good interest rate.
Yes, it is.
Which is at 7 and some change this year. In the federal government, I work for the federal government. It's a TSP.
I as well, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know.
Savings plan. I was using 401k because everybody know that one.
Yeah.
But my thrift savings plan is at 9 and some change. I'm in the C fund. It's at 9 and some change.
Yeah, I think I'm in C, I, and one other one, which I should. I'm not in G. Put it that way.
Yeah, thank you. You are mathematically getting poorer.
Exactly.
So that's why I said and remember this too. There's a cost of insurance. You have to pay for insurance, right? The cost of insurance is 1%. So my actual overall rating for my IUL was at like 8% and some change. But that take away that 1% for the cost of insurance, that left me at the 7 and some whatever, right?
Tracking.
So a lot of people don't understand that. And with the properly structured, so you got that. Also, you can set it up for them living benefits that we was talking about. My death benefit is $500K, but God forbid, something happened to me and I gotta build a wheelchair ramp on my house. I gotta widen the door, all this stuff. That's gonna be $15,000. Where am I gonna get $15,000 from? My life insurance policy, my $500K death benefit. Now I done made all these renovations. What's gonna happen to that $500K death benefit? It'll go down to $485.
Yeah, which will still be enough, right? If everything's paid, right?
But I didn't have to go around like in 2019 with people saying, "Hey, Daddy needs somebody to do blah 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 blah." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't need to do a fish fry.
Now, my question, I do got a question with the insurance, because I've been in heated debates about whole life, cashing out, all that stuff, because there are some things that I still don't understand. There is a best, I assume, and this is my biggest argument, is how long does it take for these plans to be vested to borrow against?
31 days.
Really?
31 days.
Now, that's probably the cleanest answer that I've ever gotten, because some people say, oh, once you get to the 25,000, or once you get to this amount, or once you get to that amount.
Okay. Now, with that, the accumulation, like with me, okay, so for me, my policy, the one that I have, right, that I wrote on myself, it's $400 a month, right?
Okay.
That's $4,800 a year. I'm gonna be paying that until I'm 60. So that's like the next 9 years, right? So, but that's what I contracted for. The $4,800 a year. I can overfund that up to, I think it's like $12,000 in a year.
So you have a cap. So you got a TSP.
Yeah, it's called a MEC. It's called the Modified Endowment Contract. Don't worry about it. But that's the technical term for it. Once you get over a certain amount, that's when the government can come in and say, "Oh man, this ain't no life insurance policy. Use this for an investment tool. We're gonna start taxing."
Exactly. Similar to 401k or any other Roth, ROA, or whatever.
So I had a client that was, that's doing pretty good, and he was like, "Well, what do I do when I get up? When I get up against it, and I can't put no more money in it. And I still want to put some more money in it." You know what I told him?
Open another one.
open up another life insurance policy.
Yeah, I mean that's
There's nothing precluding you. And start forking them off. You got one for one kid, the beneficiary, one for the other. And I tell people this all the time. And it's like it goes over like a lead balloon sometimes. And I'm gonna say it. I'm an EEO director. I'm an equal opportunity director on the government side, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it anyway. In our community, when you start talking about money and start having to like pay for something, I talked to this one dude. I was trying to get him to get started with something like $80 a month. This dude had every plus available. He had $230 worth of streaming services between YouTube TV, HBO Max, Yahoo Plus, all the Hulu. I was like, and I said, man, if you got rid of like half of those, you can pay for your insurance policy.
Well, I'm glad you said that because
he ain't want to do it.
Because our community is the reason being is because our community doesn't truly understand how money works. That's the first thing. The only thing that we got faith in is the church, right? Everything else it got to be tangible. So it got to be, I pay for this, I got this.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, right? That and this is one of the things I say. Me and Rodney watch sports. We do boxing when we're over there watching poker and UFC and basketball and football and stuff. All them commercials, right? Budweiser, beer, Corona, Snoop Dogg, cars, homeowners insurance, Mayhem like me, all this different type of stuff, right? And I call those all of our brown ball sports, basketball, football, hockey, stuff like that. Watch a golf tournament or a tennis tournament brought to you by such and such investments, such and such life insurance. You watch a golf tournament, they're going to be sponsored by that stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes me upset, man, to see that there's a whole
different program
out there. There's a whole community out there that don't know.
Yeah.
And I always say this. There's two reasons why something did or didn't happen. I used to say this to my kids all the time. Either you don't know or you don't care.
Yep.
You get down to the elemental level of things. If you don't know, hey man, let me show you this real quick. Okay, you shouldn't do this, and this is a way you can do this or do this better, or oh really? I didn't even know that. Blah 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 blah. Now you know. Now if you don't do it, you probably don't care.
All right, so now you're bringing this and you're going into my next question, which is, I'm sitting here and I have insurance for myself and this, that, and the other. What should I be doing to set up my children? What should I be doing for my next generation to help them and educate them and to get them prepared and set up that, my goal now is to start creating generational wealth. What should be my first step with you to come to you and talk to you about setting up for that, setting up for my kids, setting up them for success?
Start them in IUL. If I had to do it for my children, I would start them in IUL, an Index Universal Life Policy. And I would start it out with like $80 a month. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be nothing big. And then they can start seeing and understanding how this is growing for them, how this is growing for them, how this is growing for them. And let them understand, it might be $50 a month. I don't care, whatever it is. But let them see, because a lot of times I made the mistake as a parent of trying to give my kids all the stuff I didn't have when I should have been trying to teach them all the stuff I didn't know.
That's definitely, that's the truth. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And that takes it even further for me, because like the one thing that I kind of been harping on is just showing my kids how to budget and how to, manage money. But I think it goes, what you said is it goes further than that. Teach them what we're learning at 45, at 18, 19, 20. Right? You know what I mean? Because like I think we got it. We got them covered if we die, which is one thing our parents didn't have. Right? Our parents didn't have us necessarily covered when they died. Right? You know what I mean? So I think we understand that at 45 years old. We got to make sure our kids are covered. But I think it goes further, like you just said, in teaching them how money really works. Outside of just budgeting, outside of just the management of what your income is.
Albert Einstein said this about compound interest. He said it's the eighth wonder of the world.
It is.
And he said, those that understand it, earn it. Those that don't, pay it.
Yep.
And it's like this. The one thing I can say about life insurance, and one thing I said about that, Rodney, he said, what can I do with my children, blah, blah, blah. And I said, get them a policy, man. Because one thing about children, I ain't gonna front, their policies go through like lightning because ain't nothing wrong with them yet.
Nope.
I try to get a policy. They want to know all the blood pressure medicine I'm taking. And
yeah.
Stuff. What's this knee injury you had?
She came and took blood for my policy, you know.
He took blood for mine too. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, man, you got way too much nicotine in your system, and because of that, your policy goes up through the roof.
And then you try to be slick and check the box non-smoker, and then they show up at your house, and you got Black and Mild sitting up there, and you're like, that's why I say when you're a kid, let's say, and then the one thing, and the one other benefit of a permanent policy, it goes to your 121 years old.
Yeah, I did know that.
So hold on.
So you can't outlive it.
I gotta so slow down real quick because everybody did that little Gerber life policy when they first had their baby and crap like that. But that ended when they like turned 18 or something, right?
You talking about the Maryland policies and the school policies and all that stuff?
No. I remember when look, I remember getting a Gerber life policy for my baby. This is RJ 22 years ago. And paying it for that joint forever. And and at the time, I had no idea what it did. I still don't know what it did. So
it took your money.
Yeah, it did. Definitely did that. But I mean, you know, let's take away that aspect for a lot of people who might have did that. I can't see that because it's messing up.
Yeah, you gotta put it closer.
Yeah, you gotta take away your background, man. It's all right. We can see your how messed
up
it is.
Look
before you learn.
Look before you learn. And LERP stands for Life Insurance Retirement Planning. And a lot of people don't understand, but a lot of people don't understand. It's like, man, and I ain't gonna front. I ain't professing to be some financial wizard or nothing like that. I didn't make this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But it's out there for us, and it's out there for us to know. Like, you know, and it's out there for us to know. And rich folks been using this stuff for years.
I think it's definitely, but it's twofold, right? So it goes back to when you said what we value as a community, because we value the streaming services, we value the Netflix, we value watching TV. We don't value what makes us money. You know what I mean? And until we change that value, I'm a culprit of that. Like, I've been in federal government for 15 years, and I ain't changed out of the G fund until about a year ago. Until I figured out, until I really started educating myself and reading and looking at what really was going on. And it's funny because I had a counterpart who wasn't African American that was like pretty much like, what you doing? This is how it really works. And once he showed it, like in the last year, in just my TSP, I've gained double or triple what I gained over the last 14 years.
Yep. And it's funny, you know, when people don't when people, like I said, if you don't know, that's one thing. Somebody told you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you wouldn't have acted upon it, it probably because, man, I don't care about what you're talking about, man. I'm gonna just stick with what I got.
Right.
But you took action, and then you see. I got a friend of mine. She's been in the federal government for freaking 20-something years. G-Fund for 20-something years. And she just, I just don't want to lose any money. I just,
Ride
but
the
just like
wave.
but what do we say, Rodney, when we playing poker? Scared money can't make no money, man.
Definitely can, dog.
And the thing about it is, because of the longevity, you're riding that wave anyways, right? So it's what we don't understand as a community is it's almost virtually impossible to lose it in the certain funds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Rodney, yeah, man, but if you were asking me what can you do, I would be like your daughter that's a sophomore going into her junior year. If you wanted to get something started for her, it would go through quick, right? Because ain't a lot of stuff wrong with her. Your son, track star, he got all that cardiovascular health. So I know his blood pressure ain't high. So it's gonna go through quick, right?
We only 8, so he just
I'm being facetious, right?
Nah, I know I'm messing with you, dog. Nah, it's all good.
But serious talk though, man. I would, and even if it's not with me, look at it with somebody, man. Because I just don't want us to keep perpetually getting left behind and always talking about, oh yeah, these folks, these white folks over here, these folks over there, these rich folks over here, blah blah blah. When we could have been doing the same thing. We could have been doing the same thing. There's nothing stopping us from doing the exact same thing. Not to that degree, maybe not to that high level degree, but we could be doing the same things.
You know what though?
I'm sorry,
I'll tell you something. One of my friends told me probably about 3 or 4 years ago. He said to me, because we talked about, Rodney, like what you said, generational wealth, right? He's like, you want to change your generational wealth? You got to take upon yourself to be the generation that struggles. Because it only takes one generation to change generational wealth.
We say, if you didn't come from a rich family or a wealthy family or whatever, a wealthy family might just have to come from you.
Correct.
And like I said, I go back to what I was saying, and I don't mean to cut you off, Rob, but one thing I always said, what I said was, when I'm gone and my grandkids are looking at my pictures and stuff, and I want them to be able to say, that guy is the one that helped us be where we are. I remember when my granddaddy told me XYZ. I remember when my granddaddy told us about XYZ. I don't want it to be, he ain't leave us nothing but a beat up car.
Right.
I want them. If you didn't come from a wealthy family might have to come from you. Yep. And I understand that's going to take sacrifice. That's going to take, you being called an oddball and a bunch of why you doing that and all that kind of stuff. But that might just be the case.
Yeah, I mean, because like you look at this next generation, right? Like you think about them, like the majority of, and even our kids, some of our Black community as well. Like the next generation behind us, they kind of got this whole work posture thing figured out. They figured out that they can make money without going to 9 to 5 jobs. One, which we couldn't figure that out when we were coming up. Two, their parents are really setting them up for success. Like when you got people that are in their 20s living in $1 million homes that ain't got mortgages, you got to kind of ask yourself, well, how is this 20-year-old able to live in that neighborhood and sustain themselves? It ain't because they have $1 million jobs. It's because they have been passed on generational wealth through some avenue, whether it's insurance, whether it's housing, whether it's just regular cash value, stocks, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something's been passed on to them, and then the knowledge has been passed on to them too, on how to make the bread. So,
and the one thing that I'm going to do is, and I'm gonna let you, I'm gonna leave this question alone, Rodney. One thing that I would recommend doing is, where my stuff at? And over here, because I had to get it notarized, I had to get some notary stuff done, so I brought it with me. Set up trust, irrevocable trust, and my trust, my business. I have a business trust, a family trust, and a family charitable trust, and my trust are going to become the beneficiaries of my life insurance policies. And my dependents, I'm thinking I'm still in the military. My descendants, children and grandchildren, are going to be written into that trust. But the one thing I like about my trust is I can write stipulations in that trust of how I want the proceeds within that trust to be handled. Because within that, some of that money in that trust is going to have to be going to a life insurance policy. Y'all ain't going to get money. Y'all ain't going to just get the money and roll out with it.
Yeah,
you can write stipulations in there.
That's actually a really smart move. I've been kind of looking into the whole trust thing because for the longest I didn't really understand it. I have a really close friend of mine that's a financial advisor, and he kind of broke down the trust thing when it comes to real estate, when it comes to assets and everything. And that what you just said is key. Like the stipulations on what they have to do, you can almost dictate to your children on certain things. And although if you were to go early or late, they may or may not understand why you did it. But once it's executed, it will force them to understand how it works.
Yeah, like I've heard trust that they have to graduate college, they have to do this, they have to do that. I've heard of different situations like that, and that's definitely a great idea. And it's definitely something that we, as a culture, have not been doing. that people.
I'm attending an exit symposium soon.
Hold on. Probably showing something.
We can't. You gotta put it closer.
Like these 3 folders. I heard about it. In these 3 folders, that's my charitable trust, business trust, and family trust. And I'm telling you, man, once this stuff started becoming real to me, I was like, oh man, I got to get my stuff together. And I put my house in my trust, my cars in my trust, my house.
Hey, can you speak to that a little bit? As far as putting your houses and your cars in your trust?
My cousin set that up for me. My cousin's father actually set it up for me. The thing with trust are, Rodney always be clowning me. If I ever do get married again, I'll be swinging and missing like a mug over here. But if I ever do get married again,
I got a story for that too. I'm gonna go ahead and let it go.
Yeah, shut up.
Tell your story. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'll tell it later at the end of the show. Go
on. But if I ever do get married again, like all of my assets are in my trust. I think it was Rockefeller or Warren Buffett. One of them said, own nothing but control everything. I'm the executor of my trust. If anybody wanted to come to me and say, like, yeah, and I'm getting half the house. What house? I don't own no house. HDB, which is my initials, HDB Holdings owns a house.
Right.
I don't own no house. I just live here.
That's and the funny thing about the trust that I realized is that it's really just estate planning.
It's estate planning, and a trust avoids probate. So it just transfers over instantly. It avoids probate. It avoids all of that type of stuff. So you don't have to deal with it. That's what I like about it. And like I said, it protects me and my assets from losses. It protects me and my assets from, if anybody want to sue me later for giving them some bunk advice or whatever, or whatever they think might be bunk advice. I don't own nothing. You can't get blood from a turnip. And I incorporated my business as my insurance business under Legacy Catalyst, because that's what I'm naming my company, Legacy Catalyst, right? And any money that I make from it, because I have bank accounts for this trust, HDB Holdings is my partner in my business, and I got the meanest partner in the world. They take like 90% of my money.
There you go.
So Hyrom Buchanan is only paying tax on 10% of whatever I make from this insurance stuff. The one thing I like about this insurance stuff and being a 1099 person, when you're a W-2 person, you get paid last.
Yep. That's how it works.
The state, federal, Social Security, everybody get paid off the rip. When I get a 1099 from this insurance stuff, whenever the pay cycle comes or whatever, I get to decide who's going to get paid and who don't.
Yep. And the funny thing about that is that people, they go back to your original statement when it came to programming during basketball games versus golf events. People in this world need to understand that the world is telling you how to do it, but you are not listening to what people are telling you. Like the government tells you to open businesses for tax purposes. Like they literally come out and say it that clean, but people do not do it. You know what I mean? People, they come up with, these great ideas. They execute these great ideas, but they don't do it under a business. They do it under their personal. You know what I'm saying? It's so frustrating that we as a community don't really understand. I think it's transitioning now, but we need to start really understanding. Like, it goes back to the former president, Donald Trump. Like, he made his money because of businesses. The rich people are making their money because of businesses, not because they're an employee for the federal government or for whoever. They're making money because they own businesses and they understand how corporations work, and they understand how taxes work, and they understand how insurance works. And until we start communicating this to our community, and the funny thing is a lot of times people don't understand that you don't need no more than a month's worth of streaming services to start a business.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I got you. Hey, man. Hey, look. Hey, Buck, first of all, you have given us $1 million for 99 cents. I'm letting you know that. You're giving us $1 million worth of game for 99 cents. I appreciate it. And I'm telling you, thank you. Hey, we're going to have to talk because I'm going to set some stuff up. I got a little extra capital. I can, maybe stop playing poker instead of once a month, instead of twice a month, play once a month. Maybe I can put it into another policy for my kids. So we're gonna work on that.
Don't worry. I'll be up there in July. You probably lift enough off of me to cover.
There you go. But let's
cover a month's premium.
First of all, I want everybody know how to reach you. So anybody who's listening to the podcast that wants to reach you, how do they reach?
Right now, I can be reached on Facebook, and you can see the name right there. It's Hyrom Buchanan. I'm not creative enough to have nothing fancy, and it's the same on Instagram too. So I can be reached on Instagram and Facebook with that name right there that you see on the screen right now, Hyrom Buchanan. I keep it simple.
Okay. Cool, yeah, because I'm sure I know I'm reaching out to you. I won't doubt that Vance might be reaching out to you, or Coach might be reaching out to you too, and getting our policies done. I'd rather talk to you than anybody else, especially after this, but you was my boy before this anyway. But
and that's one thing. I ask too, Rodney, when I talk to people. Right, I got insurance through my job, or I got insurance through, and I'm like, and I said, be honest. When you got that insurance policy through your job, did you talk to an insurance agent or did you talk to the HR people?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, have you ever really talked to an insurance person? And a lot of times I get no.
Yeah.
I get no. So it's good that I can get this out there, and referrals are important, because if you can get with somebody that knows the person rather than just some stranger coming up to you talking about some stuff, it's always valuable. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I want to have you come back. I'm gonna let you know that now. I'm gonna have you come back and talk about trust and break that whole thing down to me, because that's my since you started talking about it, that's now my new thing. Because me and my wife now in our older ages, we both started new businesses. You know what I'm saying? And things that we can put in. And what do we need to start getting set up now? You know, we have full-time jobs that we make pretty good money, and we both have side gigs that we are doing this to set ourselves up for the future, or set us up for whatever God intended us to be. You know what I'm saying? My wife just came
Right.
from Africa. She's now talking about going to India. I already told her I'm going to India with her. She's not allowed to go anywhere else without me anymore, because she can't be jet setting across the world without me. So I'm trying to live that life. You know what I'm saying? Trying to live that life. So, we're at that age where we've done, we got our house, we got cars, we got everything, this, that, and the other. Our kids are great kids. We're trying to set up for our grandkids, really. So
I'm not real, not like I used to be. Perhaps I maybe might want to go back, start going back to church more often. But the Bible said we're supposed to be leaving an inheritance for our children's children.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, we got some more topics and questions we're gonna answer, have some good times, and enough serious talk. So one thing, I thought about this when I thought about you. I was like, what kind of topics could I bring for my man Buck? And then I remember this man travels every damn way. So I was like, yeah, so let's come up with our bucket list, vacation destinations, and things we want to do there. And just talk about things that, and even this, as a culture, we don't talk about travel, vacation, and we only think we talk about going to Virginia. For me, I'm in the DC area, like Virginia Beach or Ocean City is supposed to be a vacation. And when I was young, I had the privilege of going to Hawaii, and I realized that I spent a month in Hawaii, and I realized that Virginia Beach and Ocean City was garbage. Like, yo, like this joint out here is for real. Like, son, this is something I ain't never seen before. And the sad thing, our culture is a lot of people still haven't left their area. Like, this world is amazing. So, if you've been somewhere, you can also say where you've been. Hawaii to me was amazing. It was great. It was the first time I had ever seen, and I went when I was, I think I was like 12. It was the first time I knew that you could see through the ocean. I had never seen blue water before. I was like, what is this? I was like, yo, I was on an airplane landing and I could see fish. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, what is this? This is crazy. And then when I came back, I refused to go to those crappy beaches. I was like, nah, I'm not getting in this water. This ain't real water. This bay water. But anyway, so
they dirty dishwater.
Yeah, that water, yo, that water was crazy. Jellyfish. What y'all talking about, man? I swam with the fish, but
fish.
Yeah, like for real.
That wasn't jelly.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I even told my kids, I was like, yeah, don't get in that water. Just sit here. We'll build a sand castle or something. But anyway, nah. So, all right. So I got my list of 3. I'm gonna go ahead. I want somebody to go first. You know what? I want to hear Buck's, because Buck is the man of the world. I want to hear your top 3, your bucket list. What's your bucket list? I want to see if mine compares to yours, because I know you've been places.
You're a military guy, so
yeah, I know.
I've been to a bunch of places. Shoot, I had, yeah, man. So for me, like I said, I lived in Puerto Rico for 2 years.
Puerto
I
Rico
was
is
stationed
beautiful.
down
I've
there.
been there. I've been to Puerto
And
Rico. Beautiful.
so for me, like when it comes to beaches and stuff, I ain't been to Hawaii yet. That's on my list, but it ain't on my bucket list, but it's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you this. Hawaii humbles Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's beaches were rocky to me, but they were still beautiful.
Rocky.
They were still beautiful, but they were rocky to me. Hawaii is a whole nother thing. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been a lot of places, and the last place I ever been or lived that made me go, whoa, was when I was stationed in Colorado Springs. And when I saw Pikes Peak and the Rocky Mountains for the first time, I was like, whoa. I could see why settlers pretty much stopped right here. They like, we ain't going over them mountains because it's a truck, right? It's hard getting over the mountain. But anyway, but my list would be, and I said I'm gonna go. I already got the trip plotted and planned. I got to get down to Argentina, and then from Argentina, it's a cruise, like a boat type cruise thing. But I'm going to Antarctica. While they're still in Antarctica, and you talked about activity down there. I said I got to go inland in Antarctica, and I got to go find some. I think you can get them on the coast too, but I want to go take some pictures of some penguins, man, in their natural habitat.
Wow!
All right, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. When I was in Puerto Rico, I got I ain't Jacques Cousteau or nothing, but I can dive and use dive gear. I got but I want to go to Australia.
Okay.
And then I want the Great Barrier
Over 97% of the most dangerous animals in the world, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
They got animals that can kill you, like the 3-step death joints. But go ahead. Yeah, you good.
Yeah. I want to go to Australia and dive in Australia.
They got sharks in Australia, by the way.
They got some big ass sharks. Australia and South Africa got some big ass sharks. But I've been diving in Puerto Rico.
The shitty caca.
When I was diving and when I was getting we had to do an open water test in Puerto Rico. I saw a shark down there, but it was only like 3 feet long.
No, sir.
Fish, and I was just like,
yeah.
I think I said that was a damn shark just swam by. It wasn't bothering nobody. It just swam by, right? Like a big dog, right? Like a big dog. But I want to go to Australia, and I want to go. I was stationed in Egypt for a year in the Sinai Peninsula, and so we're about an hour from Tel Aviv and about maybe 2.5 hours from Cairo.
Okay.
And this was in 98. Yeah, 98. And I had a stack of pictures about that thick.
Wow.
A pyramid. I'm sitting on a pyramid eating KFC, right?
Wow.
And just chilling, right? And had all these pictures, man. And I let somebody borrow them. And they took them to their church because I had pictures of Jerusalem and the Holy Land tour that we went on and all this stuff and all that. I mean, when I say it was probably hundreds of pictures. Dude left with my picture.
Wow.
I wouldn't have been mad except for one thing. That's back when all my negatives were in there with it.
Oh, man.
So I said, I got to go back to Egypt and I got to go do the Egypt and Jerusalem thing again just to go back. Now that'd be 25 years? Dang, 25 years later. But I want to go back and just look around and see different things. And, I remember this or I remember that. That's where we had the basketball tournament, blah, 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 blah. So Antarctica with the penguins.
Australia with the sharks.
Diving in Australia. I might have to get the shark cage for that one.
They got saltwater crocs in Australia too, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know.
I forgot about them things.
Man, they got a couple things down there, brother, that you might not. I'm just trying to educate you. That's why they sent all their prisoners. That's why England sent all their prisoners to Australia. That's exactly why they
go
did
down there without and rough it out there. That's why the Australian dudes are wild, man. But then
Shout
I
out
want to go
Dundee, man.
to yeah, and then I want to go to back to Egypt and over in that part of the world again, just so I get my daggone pictures back. But now we got cell phones. We ain't got to worry about running out of film no more.
Yeah, you got the cloud.
No bull.
Got the cloud.
All right. Vance, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go next. I mean, I think I've taken a couple trips out of the country. I'm really big into architecture. So my next trip will probably be Greece, between Greece and Italy. I combine them because one, I heard beaches are uncomparable in Greece to anything in the world, right? So I want to go. One, I want to go see Athens, which I heard is somewhat trash, but I want to go see them. I want to go to Italy and Rome. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see the architecture in that. And in all honesty, I really want to go to see an Asian country, whether it's Thailand or China, one of the two. And I'm like I said, I'm really big. I went to a trip last year to Paris, and you guys gotta understand. And my fourth one would be Iceland because I really want to see the Northern Lights, and I want to see that culture, right? Because I'm not the type person that, like, we went to Paris, me and my wife, about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 2019. We probably brought COVID back with us when we came back because when we came back, we were sick. And that's when COVID hit. But we went to Paris and we went on a tour called Blacks in Paris. And it was an 8.5-hour tour throughout the city. And it showed the Black culture and the impact it had on Paris and France. And it was so educational. It showed, one, how much was taken from Africa into Europe. It showed how much was stolen. It showed how much of the African influence had on Europe. And if you're from the DMV, most people in the DMV understand that DC is really based off of London. It almost looks exactly the same. A lot of people may or may not know that. But
now that you say that, I can see it.
Yeah, it is. And London and Paris and all that. DC is based off European architecture. And what a lot of people don't know is that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of just the slave trade went through, you know what I'm saying, Northern Africa and Europe before it even came to us, right? So in the architecture, there's a lot of messaging that has taken place that people have no idea that was taking place. Have you guys seen like the cast iron railing throughout like DC? The black cast iron that has the symbols on it is designed. It's old school railing that is designed. It's on the outside of buildings, and you know what I'm saying. It covers balconies and it covers windows and all of that.
Yeah,
but
I've probably seen it. Just wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, but what I want you guys to understand is that in the European slave trade, the European slaves were messaging each other through the design of the cast iron. And there were symbols and there were talks. They were talking to each other and leaving their history inside of the architecture. And people don't even know that. They just say, oh, that's beautiful. Right? But people, so that is one of the reasons that I want to travel to the other countries, one, to learn about their culture. And of course, I'm going to end up in Egypt and Africa. And of course, I want to see the pyramids. Nobody can really, you know what I'm saying, tell you. The best description of how the pyramids were built was D.L. Hughley. If you've never heard him describe it before, Google D.L. Hughley's description of how the Egyptians built the pyramids, and you will be shocked at what you learn. And then
like a diamond, right? Isn't that what you're saying? That it actually went into the ground as a pyramid too?
Correct.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that'll get you on the right track to kind of learn some of your history. But you'd be amazed at how much derives from the motherland of Africa, right? You know what I mean? And I want to go around the world and just see the African influence on the rest of the world, and then we'll all finish in Africa with the what's the name with the pyramids and everything. But there's another country that I really want everybody to really look at, and then I'll get off my soapbox. Check out Algeria.
Okay.
It is
That's
one
Northern
of
Africa.
It is one of the most beautiful sunsets you will ever see.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm mad that because I let y'all go first, y'all hit just about every place I put on my damn thing. So I'm kind of pissed off about that. So, well, my first place was Iceland because I went to the Blue Lagoon.
Okay.
You know, the hot springs there, whatever. It's a beautiful sunset. Same thing. Beautiful. You know, when the sun goes down, you see all the.
And that's where that's where the mountain on Game of Thrones is from.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He sure was.
And then I'm gonna keep mine quick. Of course, I did put the pyramids and all that, but I want a 4-wheel through there, and I want to go to the Nile River and actually go down the Nile River.
That's pretty dope.
Well, influence and stuff like that. What's up?
Right, I'll say this: the pyramids are in Giza, right, and everything else is in Cairo. The Nile River is like the Mississippi River; it goes between Giza and Cairo. So when you see the pyramid, you can get on a Nile River cruise and hit it right there like 5 minutes later. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
No, it's on my bucket list.
The Nile River is like quadruple the size of the Mississippi, though.
Yeah. That joke could go like this. Woo! Go away, boy.
And then snorkeling and scuba diving in Fiji is the one I want to do. I want to explore one of the remote islands off of Fiji.
Come on now, Buck. Call him a sucker for that, man. If he gonna go snorkel and scuba diving, tell him to put some risk to it and do it in Australia.
Nah, I'm good.
You know I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna mess with him. I ain't gonna mess with him.
I'm sure Fiji got some things too. You know.
All I can say is this. If you're going diving, go the day after you get there because you can't dive. You gotta wait 24 hours before you can fly again.
Yeah, nah, I've scuba dived before. I'm an avid swimmer, so, you know. It's but not. Oh, I had some. Yeah. Look, I watched them videos of them kangaroos, and I'm good about Australia. I have no curiosity at all. They got them kangaroos. The kangaroos look like grown ass men out there. You know what I'm saying? The kangaroos ain't nothing. Like all my life, you watch these cartoons about kangaroos and shit. And they all, funny, happy, jumping around and shit. Nah, them kangaroos look like grown ass men out there, joint.
Yep.
No, like,
yeah, they'll fight you too, man. And they will. You don't want to get kicked by one of them. One of them kick you. Yeah, man. They can put you in the hospital.
Yeah. Hey, producer Ev, I don't know if you got a list. If you got one, you can definitely chime in.
So you said, wait a second, Ronnie, I ain't letting them on the hook like that. You only said Iceland and the pyramids.
What? Fiji, the pyramids.
He said Fiji.
Okay, Fiji. All right, I'm good.
I had one more. Shit. Hold on.
What's the one more?
One of y'all named it, so I scratched it off.
Oh, okay.
Those were my top 3. I can't remember what the fuck it was now. But God damn it, making me blank. Now
I want to go to Thailand. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Oh, you want to go see the Lady Boys? I knew somebody was going to bring that.
Nah, I actually want to go see the Tigers.
You out there, Lady Boys. I want to go down Lady Boys. I got you, dog. It's okay.
Nah, they actually got a tiger reserve in Thailand, and actually you can go on a wildlife joint where you actually can see wild joints. You ain't never seen them videos where the tigers be jumping out.
I'm good, dog.
Yeah.
Now I remember. My other one was Greece and Italy. I want to do the Venice cruise.
Oh yeah,
to Greece. That was my last one. Yeah, that I had put in there just in case. But there's a cruise from Venice, and you go down to Sicily, and you come around to Greece. I've always wanted to do that cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Everett, did you have a list by any chance?
Every try to go to Oxon Hill, Maryland. You know?
That's a fact.
Every try to go. He try to go over to Oxon Hill to Fort Washington Park, huh?
Try to see Natural Harm real quick. Nah, my wishes are pretty much in advance. But I want to go to Afrochella in Ghana. Go see what that whole festival is about. I'm mad that I missed the year of the return. I really want to go during that, but that's top of my list. The only other place I really want to go like bad is Bali and Indonesia, just to see the springs and the beaches and lay out and that kind of stuff. But that's all I really got on my list.
Yeah, you know what's funny that none of us mentioned is the countries like Ghana. You know what I mean? So forth. And the funny thing is that like those countries are a lot more developed than what they're portrayed.
They're on the come up
on TV. Sure. Like they're starting to become really, really developed. Not these third world countries that you see on television or the backstories of papers. But
we only got to pick 3 though.
I know.
I would love to go to Ghana. Somebody gave me a trip.
Like I said, that's on my list, but it's not my bucket list.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Not on my top 3. It's on. I'll go if something gives me that opportunity. I would love to go. I wouldn't. Now I'm about traveling anyway. I'm trying to go to an island. I'm trying to get my wife to get a job on an island somewhere. But all right. So next. We told our list. So because Peacock, I don't know, y'all know on here we do talk about video games and stuff like that a lot. So one of my childhood favorite video games during high school was Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is now coming out with a series on Peacock, and I am hyped to see it. So just because
it better not be trash.
Hey man, I'm getting Peacock just for it, dog. I didn't even get Peacock for Bel Air. And I wanted to watch Bel Air. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to get Peacock for this. And if that joint's some trash, don't worry, I'm gonna not have Peacock. It come out, I think, July 23rd. By August 1st, I will not have Peacock. They get 2 episodes before I am gone. But I can't remember the actor in it, but he was Mackie in he's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is his name?
Michael Chiklis?
Nah, you thinking of something different. Nah, not Chiklis. He's a black actor. Michael Chiklis is white. Black. Yeah, he's a black actor. He's been in a bunch of shit. Somebody Google that for me if they got a quick time. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's a good up-and-coming black actor in Twisted Metal. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was Mackie in something I was watching. Shit, I can't remember the fuck it was now. Now you're catching me. Anyway, let's move.
Yeah, it's Anthony Mackie. It's the new
Anthony Mackie. Oh, yeah. There you go. See, I knew it was something.
He's from New Orleans, man. He's from New Orleans.
Yeah. He's in that joint. Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's going to be good because he's in it as the main character. I don't think that he's going to let us down. But anyway, so I want to talk about the top video games to become movies. And what are we going to figure out is going to be the number 1? So I went through a list of 50, narrowed it down to 15. Now my list it's kind of what you call it because some of the things has multiple shows or multiple movies. Like for instance, first one is Mortal Kombat. There was a couple Mortal Kombats, not just one. Street Fighter. There was a couple of those. Rampage, Max Payne, Tomb Raider, Hitman, Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, Need for Speed, Doom, Resident Evil, Uncharted, Silent Hill, and Assassin's Creed, and House of the Dead. So these are like the top 15 that I got out of that list. Now, first thing I want us to do is to get rid of the top 3 that you think is garbage. So out of that list, everybody should have their list. What were the 3 worst out of there? And we're gonna go ahead and get it started.
The 3 worst out of that list, right there. Hold on, I'm pulling the list up. Was Street Fighter was 1. Doom was 2.
Okay.
And Silent Hill was trash too.
I agree with you on most of them.
Like,
What about you?
like,
What about you?
like that,
What's your
that's the bottom
three on there?
Did you say Street Fighter, man?
Street Fighter was trash.
That shit was garbage.
It was. When it came out, it was what it was, man.
It was trash. Like for as good as a video game Street Fighter was, the movie was trash.
That joint was such a huge letdown.
It was. It was what it was.
You know,
I'm with you on Doom.
Yeah, Doom was just garbage. That shit was.
And the one thing I hate about Doom was it had like 2 of my favorite actors in it. I like Carl Urban, and I like The Rock. Yeah. And I'm like, man, they put 2 of my favorite dudes in a trash ass movie, right?
The Rock didn't put out some garbage, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, he didn't put out some garbage. Rampage might be on there too.
Okay.
But
no, Rampage was mine. That was on my top 3 of the worst. Rampage.
Doom, I would be like Doom, Rampage, and yeah. I would probably say Silent Hill also. I haven't seen a lot of these though, but Doom, Silent Hill, and Rampage for me.
Yeah. So Rampage for me, Doom for me, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go with the House of the Dead. Even
House of the Dead was trash too, by the way.
That
was trash.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. What about you, Everett? Producer Ev, you in this?
I have a question.
Yes,
Are we talking about the Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo, or are we talking about the one that just came out?
Both. You pick either.
I heard the one came out was dope. By the way,
I haven't seen the one just came out, so I'm gonna put Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo. That was awful.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed is really bad too.
It was. I have to disagree, but
you said Assassin's Creed was pretty bad.
Assassin's Creed was really bad.
Here's why it was bad though, because people. They didn't do it justice of him going back to the character. Like the way they kind of set it up.
Either because they killed. I don't want to get spoken about this on the game, but that
you ain't played Assassin's Creed by now. You ain't playing it. Go ahead.
You ain't playing Assassin's Creed.
I ain't played it. So there ain't no point. Nothing happened.
Say it again.
They killed Homeboy in the game too. Desmond.
Yeah.
They killed him, so that like ruined the entire thing for me. I'm like, I don't care about nobody else here, but whatever.
Right.
And my third one, I had to say Doom as well. Doom may be the worst video game movie ever made. Besides Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 was trash too. It was.
Yeah. This most recent Mortal Kombat that came out was actually pretty good though.
It was way better.
Yeah.
It was way better. I agree.
Some trashier Mortal Kombats though. There used to be some ones that was even worse. Some low budget ones that I was just like, what in all hell is this that I'm watching? But nah. But for me, yeah. But you know what? I'm not gonna put Assassin's Creed at the bottom.
I can't do that either.
Aspects for me, but all right. So now we're gonna go ahead and go about the top 3. So I'm gonna go first. All right, I'm gonna go first. I don't want y'all to ruin mine. So, and I'm not gonna put them in order of. I got a number 1, but I'm just gonna give you my top 3, and I don't want to put them in order because I don't want you to know which one is my number 1.
Yeah, okay. You better have 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3. Now I'm confused what you talking about. All right, anyway.
The best 2 of the 3.
Resident Evil. Okay.
Resident Evil. All right.
Resident Evil. Hold on. They ain't making me blank on it. That ain't my number 1. It was not Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, and Hitman. That was it. That was
Hitman trash, but I liked Hitman.
Nah, Hitman. There was a few Hitman. So they started off good and then
it was like the second one was good.
Yeah, they started off good and then they went to trash.
Yeah.
But I mean, on this list, here's my thing. I wasn't a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan.
The second one was fire though, bro.
I think it's one of the top ones.
Yes, it is.
But I just wasn't into it. You know what I'm saying? It was just like I just didn't. I was like, nah.
It was
The second one,
Go ahead.
the second
Hold
one
on.
was the
Say
one.
your three, man. I said my three. So mine is Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, and what I say was my third one. Shit, I forgot already.
Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, and Hitman.
Hitman, yeah, Hitman. And I was a huge Hitman gamer. Like when Hitman came out, son, I was all in Hitman. But go ahead. All in Hitman. Who's next? Go ahead, Vance.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is dope. Just let you know that now.
That's the one with Knuckles, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
That joint is fire. Tomb Raider, of course, it is great. And Hitman 1 is good. 2 is okay. Pretty good, actually. I would say that those were my top 3. I'm still debating Uncharted, though.
Uncharted, it was good. I liked it. It was good. It just didn't,
It didn't do the video game good.
Yeah, but then Uncharted, they tried to do a lot of comic relief in that.
Yeah, they did.
That kind of threw me off. I didn't like that part of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hyron. Go ahead. Tell me what was yours?
I got a write-in. For the best show.
Oh, shit.
My number one.
Hold on. Hyron, we're gonna skip you. Everett, I want to hear.
Let me hear Everett first.
I want to wait to fry your write-in now. Since you did that. Hold on. So, Everett, let's hear your top 3.
Check this out. 2 of my top 3 aren't on this list.
Okay.
Oh shit, we got 2 write-ins. Hold on.
Because there we go. Let's go ahead and get prepared for this.
All right, let's get something straight. Tom Clancy is a book. So you can't.
Okay, got it.
Can't say Rainbow Six.
Yeah, you can't say Splinter Cell. You can't say nah.
Nope.
I got you.
All right, go ahead. I'm ready.
I was on the list. The original first Mortal Kombat is in my top 3. Right.
Okay.
There's a DC comic video game called Injustice, and they made that into a movie.
Nah,
what's it called?
DC Comics. That's all.
It's Injustice. It's a video game first.
That don't count, bro. That's like calling the Batman and Marvel joints.
It's the video game.
That's like calling Batman. It's like Marvel and the bitches don't count, bro.
Nah, just because
I don't want to.
The basic.
Street Fighter the movie is. It's based on.
I don't want to make the producer mad because he might edit me out the show. But yo, man, that's a comic book.
It's a comic.
If we were talking comic books, first,
none of these movies would be on the list.
Nope.
All right, cool.
Go ahead. Come on. Next.
Go ahead.
A for effort. I gave you 15 for a reason, but go ahead.
The movies are terrible.
What was your next one so we can boo that one? It's another comic book?
No.
X-Men the video game? You want to tell me that?
Right.
I mean, I would love
that joke was classic.
better than anything on this list, I promise you.
Oh, that joke was a vicious game, especially the arcade. X-Men the arcade was awesome, man. But guess what? It's not what go ahead.
I guess Tomb Raider with Anthony Jolie.
You sound so deflated to say that.
Listen,
He did.
I guess. This is a bad list.
Like, fuck this list. It's all good, man.
Go ahead.
All right. So Tomb Raider. You still got one more, man, because we
No. I'm sorry. Okay, so fine. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie.
Okay.
No? All right. There
All right. We'll let that go. All right, we'll let you slide.
I'll let you ride on that one.
Go ahead.
It's a good movie.
Sorry, I mean, anything animated probably was way better than the actual Street Fighter because that joint was horrible. But go ahead. Oh, didn't they have Jean-Claude Van Damme in that?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was really bad.
That joint was bad, bro.
Oh my God, that was really bad, son.
That joint was terrible.
They had a floor across the screen.
Oh my goodness. All right, go ahead. So, all right, Hyrum, let's go ahead and get your.
Let's see what your write-in is.
Let's see your write-in. I hope it's better than his. You saw what we did here, so Go ahead. Don't expect anything less.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So Hitman with Timothy Oliphant, the first one, was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Tomb Raider was good. And I'm gonna say this really because I'm a Daniel Craig fan, personally. So
Okay.
Tomb Raider was good. And then here's my right end. It was a video game. Then it made its way to the small screen.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen this show,
You mean TV show?
yeah,
Okay.
ahead.
Last of
Not a
Us,
TV
The
show.
Last of Us,
Yeah, but that's
is
TV.
fire.
I already put that out because I put that out of it because it's not a movie. And
Only because it wasn't a movie, though.
Yeah, it wasn't
That's
a
the
movie.
only reason.
But
Because
Last of Us was fire, 100% fire, son. But that I did it because this has to be a movie. Not,
Okay, it's gotta be-
you know what's
it's gotta
funny
be a
is I
movie.
have the Last of Us video game unopened for PlayStation 4 downstairs.
Yeah, The Last of Us is vicious, son. That jump was really good, but I understand that. But you can't. That can't be it. It has to be a movie. So go ahead, give me your third. You got to pick.
All right.
A third.
So then I'm gonna say this last Mortal Kombat movie was actually really good. I liked it. I like this last Mortal Kombat movie. I haven't seen this new Mario movie yet, but this the most recent Mortal Kombat movie was good. I liked it.
My son saw that Mario movie. He said that jump was fire. He was like,
that's what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying that
I wanted to see it. I was mad that I couldn't come with him to see it. He went and saw it with his best friend from school and stuff when it came out. And I wanted to take him to see it, but I didn't get a chance. So I was kind of upset about it. But I want to see it because I'm a huge Mario fan. But all right, so now we gotta take this list, and I'm gonna give you my number one and tell you why my number one and why I want it to be number one, and that's gonna be Resident Evil. And I don't even remember which one it is, but I know it was the one with Mike Epps in it, and they brought the what you call it, and it might have been like 2 or 3. And
where Mike Epps was like GTA motherfucker.
Where he had the Desert Eagle and shit. Yeah, that was my favorite one. And they brought the big ass monster with the sledgehammer that was dragging it through the street, and you could get it jump. Yeah, that was my favorite one. But Resident Evil had a bunch of. There was more than just that one I liked. There was a couple more that I liked. I thought Resident Evil, because it was a franchise and everything, the movie was the best video game movie franchise out there. And I mean, they made a ton of them. And they got even, I don't know if you've seen the Resident Evil series.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, show.
It's good too. I've been watching that. I've watched that too. So that's my vote for number one. Somebody else got a number one vote they want to battle that? Let me know.
I mean, Resident Evil was good. It's just, it's hard. These video game movies it gotta be something. I felt like looking at the list, it was something that I was missing. That I couldn't. There's got to be another video game out there that was way better than anything that we're saying right now. But when I figure it out, I'll let you guys know.
Now, if you go into Tom Clancy's joints, like series and stuff like that, you can find stuff there.
Yeah.
Like what was the joint you named with Michael B. Jordan that just came out? That was phenomenal. No Remorse. Without remorse.
But that's a book. That's the issue.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying,
at the end of the movie, he comes back, because now he's in a witness protection program, all this stuff, and he comes back and he said, "I want to start a new group that goes after these people or whatever." And then the dude was like, "What do you want to call your group?" And he said, "Rainbow."
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said Rainbow. And I was like, "Oh man, okay." At the end of the movie, I was like, "All right, I get it now." So that's his thing, right?
Yeah, you want to get caveats, you can name you can say X-Men, the X-Men video game and movies punished all these, you know what I'm saying? If you want to give that a joint too. So I mean, but if we going under the strict criteria that we have named, there was other things, but X-Men pummels all these. You know what I'm saying? Every movie we put on this list.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is, man. But hey, look, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. It's been a great show. I've had a great time. Hey, Buck, we're gonna have to get you back in here to talk about trust, man. You gave us a lot of nuggets, a lot of game. It was a great interview. It was a great time having you here. I appreciate you having you here. Just one more time.
This was cool, Rodney, man. Keep doing this, man. This is good, man. I'm glad to see you doing this, man. I want to keep pushing it and sharing it, man. This is a good podcast, man.
I appreciate it, brother. I know you met me at a poker game, so therefore you would never think I would be doing some shit like this because I was an asshole all the time.
And Rodney. And it's been over 10 years, man.
Wow. Has it been 10 years? Wow.
Because I started before he canceled it for a few years. I was before that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's been a while.
Hey, man, it's something that God placed on my heart, and I've been doing, I love it. It's definitely an outlet for me. Hope that, anybody else that wants to do it, they, invite me on there. I'm willing to help and do everything. But, it's just a great time. Hey, so anybody wants to reach you, is Hyrom Buchanan on Facebook and Instagram. We're gonna have to get you some more outlets. We're gonna have to get you start your own identity other than your name. Hyrom Buck Financials or something like that. We'll figure that all out.
All right.
And give these nuggets that you gave us, man. Like I said, man, you gave $1 million a game for 99 cents. People who's listening here, if you don't listen to this podcast and you didn't learn something, I don't know how that's even possible, man. It was a great episode. I'm glad to be a part of this. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad my man Coach asked these questions that he had to do. I'm glad Everett was here too, man. I just want to, you can reach us on all platforms. Is dad_mentality on everything, TikTok, Instagram. I'm doing my reels now, trying to get myself out there. Shout out to my man with the Guap Chasers clothing. You can get in Temple Hills, Maryland. You can see that anywhere. But we're gonna go ahead and end the show. Thank you, fellas, for everybody being here. God bless and good night.